I'd suggest that it is perfectly understandable for any parent when they receive the news that their child is being bullied to share a little bit of the fear that your child is experiencing at that time. What we need to be cognizant of is that when we get a bit of fear, fear ignites other things in us. Fear ignites, for instance, adrenaline. It compels us to move quickly, to do something straight away. That adrenaline often triggers what many scientists would refer to as the fight or flight mechanism. So we feel like we either need to go into bat and we need to fight our way through this and win, or we feel we need to get out of there. And I think that's why I understand quite deeply when parents feel the compulsion that if their child is being bullied, that we're going to get out of there. I think I understand where that comes from. It's an emotional reaction that says that we need to take our child from a situation where bullying is happening and put them in a situation where perhaps it won't. I also think there's a little bit of knowledge that sits behind that. I think parents do intuitively know that where bullying has been normalised in one place, if that we can take a child out of that environment, whether they are perhaps even on the receiving end of bullying behaviour or whether they are perpetrating some of that bullying behaviour, and take them over to an environment where perhaps bullying behaviours have not been normalised, that they might have a better chance of succeeding in that environment. It's one thing that we could take into account, but it's one thing among many others that any parent who's contemplating moving schools should take into account. For instance, another thing that we should take into account is that moving schools has been research proven to be one of the most significant impactors upon a young person's academic trajectory that you could subject them to. So we need to understand that moving them from one place to another might give us a hunch that we could improve their social situation. But the truth is also we might be putting at risk their ability to continue learning at the rate that they're currently learning academically as well. So what I want to put to you is that there are 4 key considerations that any parent should keep in mind before they let that fight or flight mechanism make decisions for them. Would moving schools, for instance, improve their social situation? Now, it feels like when we've got bullying come along that all the social interaction is negative, but the truth is also that your child likely has quite a few friends in your existing school, and it's going to be difficult and challenging for them to re-establish friendships in a new environment. We want to think about whether it's going to improve their emotional state. While they might be dealing with some emotional situations at the time, it's going to be just as emotional to step into a new environment where they don't know anyone, and they're going to have to rediscover what it is about themselves that they want to reveal to other people again. It can induce some anxiety that again doesn't help them to be able to improve their emotional situation. We want to think about whether it'll improve their academic state or not. Are they going to be able to learn more effectively in the environment that they're already in, or are we feeling confident that they'll be able to step into that environment and continue with that academic trajectory that I mentioned being on an upward incline? We need to check in that we're prepared to provide the parental support to step up to helping them to improve academically when they land in that circumstance. And the last one's a tricky one. The last thing I want you to consider is whether it's actually improving their problem-solving ability. What we want to know about young people as they emerge into the workforce is, can they solve problems? And it's not just about whether they can solve an academic problem on a piece of paper. It's about whether they can solve social problems. It's about whether they can resolve even their own emotional challenges. Sometimes bullying presents as something that we want to get away from in a hurry, but if we can just reframe it as an opportunity to solve a problem, then we might just teach them some skills that they can use in multiple domains and in multiple pursuits in their life. So check off on 4 things first. Think in a more broad sense about whether it's a good idea to move schools or not. And if it is, then parents are within their right to start to pursue that option. But you know what? Make sure you do it with your eyes open, and make sure that it's not your fight or flight mechanism that's doing your thinking for you.